Hey guys, this is Dave from EFX Tuning. In today's video, we're going to be going over exactly how to read the file from your vehicle, flash a file to your vehicle, and set up the VCM scanner for remote tuning. Stay tuned and we'll be going over all the steps in this video. Alright guys, so in this video we're going to be going over how to download or read the file from your vehicle. Today we're working on a 2017 Camaro SS, and we're going to start by opening the VCM editor. Now once you have it open, you're going to see on the top you have this little icon here. It's a chip with a green arrow and it says read vehicle. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And I'd like to do this. I always hit gather info. That would help if we plug the cable in. See what happens when I get ahead of myself here. So we're going to go ahead and hit get info, gather info. And it's going to show us we're working on a 2017 Camaro SS. It gives you the VIN, gives us the programmable controllers. Not all the controllers, just what we have access to. And we see here we have an E92A ECM and an FSCM for the fuel system control module. And this is a stick shift car. If it was an auto, A8, A10, it would have a TCM here that we would read as well. Now, 9 out of 10 times, we always read the TCM unless it's just an engine calibration. And for this particular car, since there's no TCM and we're just doing the engine side, we really don't need the FSCM. We're just going to click it and hit do not read. And then we're going to go ahead and read the file. Okay, we have a pop-up here. And we're going to go ahead and read the file. And it's going to go through its procedure. ECM stuff typically takes 3 to 3.5 minutes. TCM, 1.5 to 2 minutes. We have about 2 minutes and 50 seconds left on this, so we're going to let this run through. And while we're pulling the ECM file, it's important to know that on some computers, if you start clicking off, when the dialog box opens to save the file, it'll get stuck behind a couple of the other windows. So I try not to touch anything and let the computer pull the file from the ECM, TCM, or whatever else we're doing. So we're just going to go ahead and let this sit and go through the procedure, and we'll get back to the video after it's done. Alright, so we have about 20 seconds left on the read on the ECM here. And I just got the video going again so we can go over the save procedure. Now, I always like to save them where you can find them easily. There's no sense in saving a file and spending 20 minutes trying to figure out where you saved it to, especially when it takes time to read the files off the ECM. So I always like to say desktop, create a folder on the desktop, my documents. Now you see here we got this pop-up here, the dialog box for the save. This is the one that can get stuck behind other windows, so that's why I don't like to touch it. So what we're going to do here is just throw in a date, 02/25/2021, and we're going to save that, and now this is your file. So basically you're saved on your computer. The next step is, if we're doing the remote tune, would be you would need to get this file attached to an email and sent over to us at EFX, and then I would start going through the file, getting my initial changes done, get sent over to you, and we'd start data logging. That being said, let's look at the data logging stuff. So we have our VCM scanner here. So depending on application, we have different channel lists and layouts to go over depending on application, vehicle, so on and so forth. So what we would do here, if I already had sent you a channel list, you would go up here. Now you have two folders that look similar. We're going to be using the one under the channels section. And we're going to go here. We're going to go to open channels. Now, for instance, I saved the channels on the desktop right here, LT1, and it's a channels file. So what that'll do is it'll open this list up here, and this is everything will be data logging as far as parameters in the ECM. If I also sent you the layout file, same principle, it would just be this little folder to open layout, and because I saved them both to the desktop, they're both right here on the desktop. Open this up, and that's just the layouts that we'd be using. The only things that you may need to add would be your wideband, or if you have any other sensors that will be logging through the MPVI. And for instance, we would go to your channel list, go here to the bottom, just because my OCD always makes me do it that way, and we would right click, bring up this dialog box, add channel. Now, depending if you're using the MPVI Pro or the MPVI 2, they're both right here. You have your 4 inputs for the MPVI Pro, which is the first generation, MPVI 2 like we use, and with our wideband, we would go to input 1, double click that, it pops up on our channel list. And HP tuners, now I'm jumping ahead. Now that we have that input in, now that's just going to input the 0 to 5 volt reference, or the 0 to 5 volt signal that the sensor's putting out. So what we have to do is right click on that MPVI input and click transform. Now, HP Tuners has added some wideband, some popular ones in here, and you know, most of them are decent widebands. If you have one of them, it makes life real easy, because all you got to do is say, if you're running the Ballinger V2, double click it, and it puts in the wideband scaling. If you're running one that isn't, you would need to get the calculation for the output and the offset. Like, for instance, ours is 0.474 and 9.46. And then on the gasoline scale. And now this is set up to use the wideband that we run on our Mustang dyno. If you have a CAN-based wideband, the one that plugs into an OBD2 port, the Tuning School has a great video on setting that one up. It's very similar. You have to go through the channel list and re-pull the parameters, and it should show up, but I'll include a link to that video in the description. And then last but not least, now that we have, we pulled the file, we emailed it over, we did some data logging, and now you have a revision to flash to the car. We're going to go back and close this out. So we're going to go back to our VCM editor here. In the VCM editor, now you got a new file emailed, you saved it to your desktop, and now we're going to go ahead and open that bad boy up. We're going to go here to this one that we just named the 02-25-2021 is the one we just did, and we open it up, and here we are. So here's everything we had. This is our new file. We got to get this to go into the vehicle, and I'm just going to show you how to do it. We're not going to flash this car because this car that we have that we're working with today is done. So we're going to hit right vehicle up here. It's right next to the one how we read it. It's a chip with a red arrow. We click here and it has right calibration. You would hit right. We have some other options: right entire, right calibration, do not right. Always go with right calibration or the automatically selected option, unless myself, your tuner, or somebody else says to do it a different way. Specifically, let it fly the way it pops up. Right calibration is going to be the fastest right. Right entire is going to be a complete rewrite of the controller. Do not write is exactly what it says. It skips it. For instance, if you're tuning a 8-speed auto car and you're just making changes to the transmission, you would go to do not write on the ECM, so you could flash the TCM and change it makes flashing time a lot faster. So that being said, you would go to your right calibration, click right. That's it. Wash, rinse, repeat. Have any questions? Check us out on Facebook and Instagram.